you, Nancy. No problem.
Good evening. I would like to call the May 19th, 2016 regular board meeting of the Tarrant County College District Board of Trustees to order. Can they hear me? I'm on.
Mic's on.
I'm on. Can you all hear me in the back? I don't seem to. I'd like to call the meeting to order. May 19th, 2016, regular Board of Trustees of Tarrant County College District concerning public comment.
Mic's off now. There you go.
Dr. Gates, Mr. Gates, public comment, thank you. We have a very special guest tonight, and I'm going to give Ms. Robinson the pleasure of introducing her.
Yes, we have with us tonight Dr. Rita Cavan. Dr. Cavan, if you'd like to make your way to the microphone while I'm introducing you. On October 1st, 2015, many of you know that a gunman opened fire on Umpqua Community College in Oregon, killing 10 and injuring many others. Dr. Rita Cavan was the acting chancellor of that community college when that occurred. I heard about Dr. Cavan, not from the Dr. Cavan, but from the many good things that I heard in the aftermath that occurred, the many positive things that she did with her board of trustees, with the community, with the families, and with the district attorney, and many, many other positive things that she did towards the healing of the families, the college, and the community. So I hunted her down, and she's actually agreed. We're the first college that she's come to talk to, and she spent 2 days with us, and I thought I'd share with the board who she's spoken to. We divided it into groups of folks that she's talked to over the last 2 days, and she met first with Dr. Terry Mushala and some of the faculty. Then she met with, and that was an academic group meeting. Then she met with Reginald Gates for the communication piece. She met with my cabinet, the Chancellor's executive leadership team. Last night we had dinner with Sharon Wilson, the district attorney's office, and her chief of the criminal division and her chief of investigations. And Sharon Wilson was very, very impressed and is insisting, as only Sharon Wilson can, that Dr. Cavan return. This morning, she met with the police department, our police department, and several of the University of Texas at Arlington chief of police and the general counsel for University of Texas at Arlington. She met with our funding support team, which included Joe McIntosh, Jackie Mackey, Mark McClendon, and Gary Prather. She's met with our operational support team. And then this afternoon, she met with our campus carry committee, our student support group, and now she's meeting with our board of trustees. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Dr. Cavan.
Well, thank you very much, Chancellor Robinson, and thank you for inviting me to visit Tarrant County. This has been an extraordinary visit for me. As an old classroom teacher, one of the ways that I could really tell that this was a good place to come visit about this topic was we prepared, I think it was, Kelly helped me, 16 pages of preparation materials for them to read before we had our meeting, so I didn't have to cover the same basics, and it gave them a resource after I left. And pretty much, as far as I could tell, everybody'd read all 16 pages. Some people said they'd read it twice. They were making notes on it. You know, you can tell if you come in as a consultant if people are interested in why you're there or they're being forced to be in the meeting by their participation. And we had active participation, eager questions, good follow-up. The meetings all ran right to the end where Kirk, who's been my caretaker, driver, chauffeur, everything, taking good care of me for the 2 days, would have to end the meeting against people's will. So I think the meeting was received really positively by staff, and I was really impressed with their dedication to students and to the college and to being prepared. I think they took away notes of things that they can do, and we had the conversation that everybody's busy, and to sort of take on these extra things about preparation seems daunting, but if a tragedy happens on your campus, you're even busier, and that's not the time to be doing things you could be doing ahead of time. So all the meetings were structured with what can you do to prepare ahead of time, and then what kinds of things do you have to think about after something happens. And I think it seemed to me like the feeling was they wanted to sort of get going. I know there's some law changes here in Texas that have people's attention, and so this might be the optimum time to have these kinds of conversations. I'd just sort of like to make a couple of comments. In the aftermath in our community, my role got really tied in with working on a regular basis with the district attorney and the city manager and then United Way, as we did victim relief, victim assistance, and investigations of the events. And so last night we sort of opened the door with the DA, and I think she was so positive about the meeting. It really was an exuberant dinner where she really wanted to continue the relationship and expand the relationship. That's wonderful to have that kind of enthusiasm in the district attorney's office. This morning, one of the participants in the financial part was the foundation director, and one of the comments that I had made was that there's a lot of human capital and resources involved in good foundation boards, and you have a good foundation board, and I had one at Umpqua, and lots of talented people with specific skills, that they did everything I asked them to do. They were extraordinary in terms of volunteering their help. Things like manning the stations. That we closed Snyder Hall where the shooting was, and so students who came back when we reopened the college had to be redirected to their new classroom assignment. They helped with the vigils and the memorial services, and they just really stepped forward anytime I asked them. And what I realized at the end of a couple months is I could have asked them to do even more. And that our conversation with the foundation director was that not only does it make a good use of very talented people who are already committed to the college and in a way pre-screened, but then it solidifies their relationship to the college after that, because it's a really rewarding experience to work with the college in these situations. We had, I had really, really good board support. We had agreed on, while I was the interim, what the priorities were and what changes the board wanted me to make in the 6 months I was there. And we were making very good progress. And then it all went out the window. And we had to think in a new way. And so there were things where I brought in what we called a volunteer recovery team of award-winning retired administrators from other colleges who came in and volunteered their time for 6 weeks. And the board was very good about bringing them in, understanding the need to shore us up temporarily while we recovered to get everybody back on track. They gave them signing authority, and they covered their expenses. And I would brief the board on what we needed to do next, and almost all of it was way out of the box, and the board would understand, and we would have the conversation. We'd go out in public, and the board and I were always on the same page in terms of the messaging to the public, because you can't say one thing about the recovery process at a Rotary meeting and another thing at the Presbyterian Church. You have to sort of be of the same mind, and it's very much a tightrope where you're trying to honor and respect the people who lost their lives or were hurt, and you don't want to minimize that, but you can't be the sad college and the unsafe college and the place where tragedy happens. You have to be thinking ahead about your enrollment and your reputation and your name and what people associate when they hear the name of your college. So the board and I really worked closely with Public Information Office to make sure that we were all messaging the same sensitive message about where we were as a college and what our recovery process was. Chancellor Robinson said you might have some questions. I'm open to taking any questions that you have. But you don't have to. If you would like me to just go to the airport, I'm happy to do that too.
Tell us what we have here at our places. Keeping your head above trauma, this is something you
Yes,
wrote
that
about.
is the packet that we gave out to
sharing.
people ahead of time. So one of the top part is a summary of what happened, a personal narrative, and that's followed by a timeline of the first couple of weeks, and then that's followed by lessons learned, and they're grouped by the priorities that the board and I set for the college recovery. So we set, these are the 5 things we're going to work on, and everything else is going to wait. And under each one of those categories, it's organized by what you can do ahead of time and what you need to do afterwards. And then I think there's a couple of resources, like there's a little brief history of previous shootings so you can sort of get an idea of what's happened in the past.
Thank you, but I hope we never, ever have to read this again.
I hope everyone puts this in a file and never has to take it out.
But how wonderful for you to organize this. And I know it can't have been easy. It was almost a catharsis in a way for you, probably. And
Oh, I think I've catharsed enough, actually. I think everybody, when it happened to us, people from Virginia Tech and Sandy Hook and Columbine all came and helped us. They just dropped everything and came to our college within days. And I think most of us that go through this have a need to pay it forward.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on here.
Well, we appreciate that, and thank you for stalking her. And-
She
and
did.
Thanks to all of you who participated in the sessions. I know that was above and beyond, but I trust you benefited and are grateful for the time.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're,
I was just going to say that as prepared as we'd like to be on a college campus, what was your impression of your visit here? In your conversations, do you feel that we're adequately prepared? I mean, like I say, you can never be fully prepared.
I
But
think
were
you're-
there any big thoughts or suggestions you may have had for the college?
They're not going to listen to this, right? So just talk among yourselves. So I think that almost everything that I had to offer, except for very specific personal experiences, were things that they knew and had heard about and knew about and had used in their training. But I think sometimes people pay more attention and take it more to heart and understand it more when there's some personal detail put around it. And, you know, there's sayings about consultants and how you believe consultants that aren't from your area more than you believe your internal experts. So I think there's a little bit of that I came from a distance, so they don't know most of my flaws. And I think I reinforced rather than brought new information. I think having those groups meet in a 2-day period, all on one topic, was really powerful. It was the same as having a retreat, so maybe the format helped too.
Well, yeah, I think this subject is something that we've discussed several times, and we want to be prepared. I think the board is just very, very concerned about the situation, particularly with, you know, campus carried in complicates things and
Right.
and those kind of things. So we want to be prepared, and we sure appreciate you being here. And I hope we're prepared, but then you never really are, probably. But certainly the aftermath, I think, would really help us.
It's like your first child.
Yeah, right.
You know, you can read a lot of books, but it doesn't really prepare you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
your time.
Dr. Kevin, thank you for
Yes.
coming. Going forward, once a college implements a plan, and how often do you recommend that they revisit that and test it and make sure that it's a viable plan? based on your experience?
There's different components. So in terms of the mechanisms, the equipment, I think there needs to be regular testing, and I think they already are planning for that and taking that into consideration. But you really need to stay up with the technology and make sure everything is working and that people are trained to use the equipment and understand what it's for, what it's going to deliver. But in terms of the plan, I think the key component really isn't the plan, it's the participation and the interest and seeing that everybody needs to be part of the plan. So you can have a beautiful written plan in a
Right.
folder, and it's not going to do anybody any good. So I think you have to have a lot of faculty and staff participation that's not just from the leaders and the experts, but that they really understand this is going to make an important difference in their lives.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that insight.
And I would think you'd recommend drills, as opposed to just reading something, but actually
I think
practicing?
both. I mean, there's drills, but if you don't debrief after the drill, then the drill isn't really as helpful as it could be, and we talked about that. I don't think I brought anything particularly new to the table about drills and evacuations and protocols for lockdown and those things. It's really about whether people are interested in making it work. That's really, you've got to get adjuncts, contracted employees that aren't really employees, but they provide services like Subway on your campus. All the people that are on your campus that have student safety as part of what they're here for need to be part of the discussion.
Do you want to talk about going forward, what your plans are, committees or task forces, or do you want to wait on that?
Well, we currently, one of the groups that she talked to was the Campus Carry Committee, who will be coming to me with their recommendations, and I'll be coming to you with recommendations. And one of the items, interestingly enough, that the board will be considering tonight is our new notification system that has been under consideration. So we are constantly working on updating and renewing, and we'll be starting in September regular drills, regular scheduled drills. And based on the experience we've heard, we're also going to add to our drills the evacuation piece of it. Usually drills have ended before the evacuation piece, but based on the experience we've heard, the evacuation piece is a huge part of it.
It's very big.
That's one thing I took away.
Other questions, trustees? Thank you so much.
Thank you
again.
very much, and you should be really proud of your police department. I met with them today, and they're so extraordinary. They really are. So congratulations on being such a well-prepared college. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Catton.
All right. I would ask for approval of the board minutes of April 21st, 2016. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Mr. Heed. Any questions, comments, additions, corrections? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 7, committee reports, Audit and Finance Committee. Mr. Carter?
The audit committee did meet. We reviewed 4 audits. 2 of them were basically reviews of past audits just to make sure that things were in compliance. I think the main one of those was student fundraising. You reach a certain level, you have to pay sales tax. The other main item was a sort of an audit of location of computer equipment inventories. We found they weren't being stolen, they weren't being misplaced, but they were finding new homes across campus sometimes without realization of where their location was. And that's been corrected as well. All 4 audits have been posted on the website, so they're there for anyone to peruse. Nothing alarming, just minor adjustments.
Great, thank you. The Governance Committee met to prepare the agenda. The Institutional Planning Committee met. Mrs. Vandergriff.
Yes, institutional planning met on Tuesday, May 10th. We had a status report on a long-term effort from like 2014 as it related to the RFQ and the RFP with the TXU facility. And gathering around the table was Nina Petty and her team. We had Mike Herndon, Dr. McClendon, the gentleman, Tom Morse from PFM. And it's been a it's been a long process through the RFP process where two developers bubbled up to the top. And subsequent to that, Acting Chancellor Angela Robinson and the board really contracted with Mayor Barr, who embarked on a listening tour and a opportunity to meet with stakeholders in Fort Worth, from City Council, Mayor, Fort Worth Inc., and a number of people who have a vision for that area in general. Fast forward to our meeting, and really the recommendation is that the market really is not timely for a project of this size, whatever the vision is. And so their recommendation was to go forth and really preserve and protect the building. So with that in mind, we're really recommending that, and the college is doing so, a structural assessment to see how we need to, protect it from rain and the abuses of weather and different things. So anyway, it's a beautiful, historic building, and we're here to maintain it, and we'll see what the future unfolds.
Thank you. Item number 9, consideration and approval of renewal of a contract with Texas Industrial Security to provide security services for Tarrant County College District in the amount of $566,400. Ms.
that-
Chief Williams, are you?
I told him I would take this
Okay,
for him.
good, go.
This is a second year of a third-year contract, and with the outsourcing for our security services for the Opportunity Center and for Alliance, the security service is asking for a raise from $14.13 an hour to $14.48 an hour, which is consistent with our contract and consistent with the U.S. Bureau of Labor Standards Act, and we're asking for approval of that raise.
Motion to approve. Mr. Heed, second. Mr. Carter, any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, consideration and approval of deductive change order with Facility Solutions Group for electrical distribution upgrades on South Campus in the amount of $79,326.65. Ms. Petty.
Good evening, Acting Chancellor Robinson, Board President Appleman, and Board of Trustees. Our first item is a deductive change order, and we're hoping you approve getting the money back.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Grinnell. Everybody wants to make this motion.
Oh, you want to go?
Seconded by Mr. Heed.
You don't have any questions?
Just show us the money. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Item number 11, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity service authorization agreement with, it should be Hutt-Zollars, right? To provide brick facade assessment on Northwest Campus in the amount of $192,127. Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Mr. Heed, Ms. Vandergriff, seconded. Discussion, questions?
Did you like the pictures in the summary this time? Good. That's what, we're going to start adding more of those. I think a picture is 1,000 words. In the summary, there's pictures of, and you have to really go to the Northwest Campus to see all the bricks laying around in the grass to really understand what happened there, so.
Yeah,
anyway.
we initially thought that might be just for the spot that was hurt with the wind, but it's looking at every building, as I understand.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Every building on that campus.
Yep,
On that campus,
absolutely.
yeah.
And we'll be providing you more pictures in the summaries as we can to help.
All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 12, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity service authorization agreement with Jacobs Engineering Group to provide design services for Tarrant County College District Classroom Code Blue System in the amount of $225,000. Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Ms. Vandergrift, seconded by Mr. Heed. Questions? Discussion. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, consideration and approval of BuyBoard cooperative agreement with Mavich LLC for purchase of campus exterior lighting fixtures, controls, and additional poles on South Campus in the amount of $544,822.89. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Mr. Carter. Any questions? Discussion. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
President Appleman, can I?
Yes.
Did you vote?
We have.
I was
We
just going to
approved it.
just mention, because I think there maybe was a question about cost savings, and I just thought I'd report that there's a 59% reduction in energy by putting this in place. It's about $500,000 that'll be a payback in 3.5 years. We actually had 2 people that would spend every day replacing light bulbs around the campus for this. So there's a huge cost saving just in the maintenance, labor, and materials alone is $150,000, and then the rest is in the power savings. It's also going to raise the average light level for our students 170%, and it will double the number of light fixtures. So this is really an important project at that campus. So I just thought I'd share those stats with you.
And these are all LED lights?
They are.
And thank you for bringing that detail, Nina. That's
Sure.
very helpful.
Anytime.
Thanks.
And I think I've mentioned to many of you, we're going to start adding this kind of material to the summaries. And I was trying to make it short and concise in those summaries, but I think some of that kind of information in the pictures and the why is important for you. So you might see these summaries be extended a little bit in just an effort to provide you a little bit more information.
And that reminds me to remind you, if this is your first meeting, we receive all of this information ahead of time, and so we've gone over it, hopefully, and considered it. And if you think we're just passing motions without much information, you're wrong. Okay. Item number 14, consideration and approval of job order contracting construction trade services agreement with Texas Refrigeration to provide for the purchase of equipment and installation of valves on chilled water and heating water coils on Northwest Campus in the amount of $473,938.83. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Heed. Discussion. Questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 15, consideration and approval of job order contracting construction trade services agreement with TD Industries for air handling unit replacements on Northwest Campus in the amount of $415,980.28. Motion to approve. Mr.
Second.
Carter, seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Discussion? Questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 16, consideration and approval of Texas Multiple Awards Schedule Cooperative Agreement with Simplex Grinnell to provide equipment and installation of fire alarm system for Trinity River Campus in the amount of $1,799,439. Motion to approve.
So moved, but Mr. Carter is fixing to turn on his.
Oh, I'll
I know.
second.
I just need a motion and a second before we then now we can discuss. Who has a question?
That is a lot of money.
That's
So
a lot.
tell us what are we getting for this, and why do we need to make this expenditure on our swell-looking Trinity River campus?
Well, as you probably read about in the summary, this is very much needed, even though that we often feel like that building is brand new. It's getting older, and I can certainly have Walt Williams come up and give you more information under the why of the summary. He talks a little bit about the poor integrity of the system wiring and some of the integration challenges we're dealing with. The one thing in the summary that I think Walt has brought a lot to the table in terms of showing you is this form that has all the gold. We have budgets that are set up, and if on that form you saw there was a budget of about $2 million. And to leverage the fact that we're doing a lot of work there at the same time, instead of phasing it, which is what I think Walt had intended to do on this, we're bundling this all together, and that afforded us a little bit of cost savings in it. It is a lot of money. but we were able to save a little over $200,000 by bundling them all
As
together.
long as Walt's coming up here, we're also in the process of sort of moving into the second building, and UTA's moving into the second building. Does this work include that building, or just the main building we're in now?
Yes, so the work includes all of the buildings on the campus.
Including the one Radio Shack is in?
Correct.
Okay, so it'll all be, all three buildings,
No, all five.
all
buildings.
5 buildings at once? So,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Well, before you get started, I'd understood that Richard Kennard, your coordinator of your fire detection systems, was going to be here. Is he here to answer the board members' questions also?
If need be, he is in the back of the
Okay,
room.
so we also have our
Yes.
coordinator of fire detection systems here.
Okay, I just thought it was such a large sum that maybe our many tens and tens of viewers out there would like to hear it.
I mean, I think you can sum it up as a case of kind of diminishing returns. We've tried everything we know to try to repair the system as is. In some cases, actually, the repairs exacerbate the problem. When you have wiring that's faulty and you try to pull new wiring through the same conduit, you can actually exacerbate the problem. Even if that could be fixed, the systems don't talk well together. The one in TR is called a notifier. Our district standard is a Simplex, and we're trying to create a system that's district-wide, integrated, and all works together in concert. And again, all efforts to get that notifier system to communicate and talk the way that Simplex does have not been successful.
Now, I guess one more question, which is that as Radio Shack sort of winds down and we move new facilities in here, we have new tenants in here, this system is going to be usable without having to take it apart, redo it. So it'll be in place no matter what we do in the way of renovations?
Correct. That's correct.
Well, let's vote.
I have a quick question, please. How do they determine, because this is quite expensive, do they price it based on square footage, on the length of cable? I mean, how do they
This
price
particular contract is a TexMA, so it's a purchasing cooperative, and it's the 43 pages that you find
right.
here. They don't have a submittal yet, because that comes after we're approved. They're not going to make a set of plans that shows every placement, but they get the counts here, and so it's a quantity contract, right?
It's a
It's basically this number of components and this number of hours to put it in
Okay,
off the TexMass schedule.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, one more question. Does this help to perhaps diminish our insurance cost?
I checked on that, it does not.
Does not.
And this is all part of a centralized, integrated system?
Correct. This along with the few buildings you approved recently in Northeast will
Okay.
complete the system district-wide.
Okay.
Yes.
Where's the central command for all that?
It's in basically the bottom of the parking garage in the emergency operations center.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we've seen that. Yeah.
Other questions or discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of approving item number 16, the new fire alarm system for Trinity River campus, say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I think that's all for you. Your shop, right?
I just thought I'd warn you that we have about 18 or 19 items for next month.
Oh, thank you. We look forward to it.
I know you do. We do too. Thank you.
All right, item number 17, Ms. Robinson and Ms. Shelton, consideration and approval of purchase of virtual desktop interface workstations from NetSync Network Solutions in the amount of $190,350. Motion to approve.
So, second?
Motion by Mr. Heed, seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Discussion. Questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed?
I love y'all.
We're taking it easy on you here at the beginning. Hang on. Item number 18, consideration and approval of purchase of reverse proxy load balancing appliances from General Datatech in the amount of $180,859,000. Motion to approve. Ms. Vandergrift, second. Mr. Heed. Discussion, questions?
I'd vote for it if I knew what a reverse
I'm-
proxy was.
She-
Do you want to?
Yeah.
We get a lot of traffic coming in from the internet, and we need to have a way to protect our network from that traffic coming into the internet and to balance the load of traffic that comes in. So these appliances allow us to check that traffic coming in to make sure that it's not harmful and to send it to different servers so that one server or two servers are not inundated with the traffic.
Now you know.
Not much, but thank you.
Other questions of Ms. Shelton? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 19, consideration and approval of purchase of Rave Alert Mass Notification System in the amount of $169,500. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Questions, discussion? You want-
I did have a quick question. Thank you for answering some of my previous questions. I was going to ask you, is it an actual just a license that we're purchasing from these folks? Is that what it is, or is it actually is it a system, or is it both?
It's actually a system.
Okay, all right.
We currently use BuyBoard Connect, but all
Right.
it allows us to do is emergency notifications, and this will facilitate. We need to get other information, financial aid, registration, any other information we get that's non-emergency to students, staff, and faculty.
Well, and I want to commend you that I noticed that there was a committee recommendation that came, so I like that approach where you actually had some folks looking at this and doing some analysis, and that's a great idea.
I have to be honest. This is actually the work of where is Kurt? This is their work. All we do is support the operations and the
Right.
maintenance. So he's the one that's responsible for getting the expertise input.
Great, thank you. Thanks,
Is Rave the company that the leaders of BuyBoard started? Is that the same? Am I
No.
thinking
No,
that's
that
something
was
different?
another name we heard about.
That's something else, okay.
Okay, I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Mr. McClendon, I think we're ready for the monthly financial report.
All right, good evening, Madam Chancellor, Madam Chairman. Finance.
Before you
Oh,
get started, I wanted to recognize Dr. McClendon.
You did it, you did it.
Dr. McClendon now has a doctorate of education in higher education, leadership, and policy.
Thank you,
Well,
thank you.
la-ti-da.
Now, I want you all to know something, that this picture adds 15 pounds. Okay, that could add more, so let's, thank you very much, thank you. All right. Okay. Yes. Well, now to our favorite part. Okay, financials, the exciting part of the evening. Okay, we're in the 8th month of the fiscal year, so we look at revenue and expenses that are greater than 75%. 8 months is equal to 8/12, so it would equal to 67%. So if we look at first of our revenue, our state appropriations are as anticipated. We've been paid 10 months and they're on schedule, okay? Our property taxes, we've received 173 mil and are exactly as we anticipated. Okay, our tuition is sitting at 96%, which is anticipated. Our interest income is at 233%, and as we mentioned, this is a GASB requirement of mark-to-market adjustment. So we're good, but not 233%. That would be something that would not be realistic. Our total revenue is sitting on 91%. Again, this is exactly as we anticipated. Our revenue, no surprises, and this is a great thing to happen in our college. So now we're going to look at expenses to anything that's greater than 75%. We always mention that in September we recorded prepaid expenses that may cause expenses to look larger than the consumption for 1 month. So we have prepaids, which means that they benefit more than one period. We have encumbrances that are more than one period, for example, like a lease. And we also have insurance policies or that kind of thing that cover more than one. So if you see a higher percentage, that's exactly what these expenditures represent. So if we look at our total expenditures to date with all these items, we're sitting on 70% versus 67%. So that would be a very good expenditure as far as an expensive record. So now we'd like to move to our investments. Okay, so if we look at our pools, we're sitting, our beginning balance is 171 million. There is a decrease. We consumed $10 million. That means we took money out of our pools and we used it for operations. And we have a net ending balance of $161 million, all right? Now, if we look at our short-term interim, which is a period from 90 to 180 days, which will provide slightly better than pools, we had a beginning of $20 million. We have no activity, and so we have naturally the ending result of $20 million. Now, if we look at our U.S. agency securities, we have a beginning balance of $131 million, no relative activity there, and so we have an ending balance of $131 million. If we look at our total portfolio of $322 million, and we have an ending balance of $312 million. So if we look, now we're going to talk about our performance, right? So if we look at our yield through, this is April 30, we have a yield of 0.74%, which compares favorably to the T-bill for 1 year T-bill is equal to 0.48. So our spread would be 0.74 minus 0.48 will give us a positive 0.26. Now, we also are going to talk about our WAM, which is now sitting on a 361 days. Our board has asked us to be on 365, so I think that is that's a very close number to be between 361 to 365, very, very close. If we look at our total monthly earnings is 188,000 in interest, and our accumulated is 494,000. Any question? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McClendon. Ms. Robinson, the Chancellor's report.
Shelley? On April 22nd, the Jim Bolin Math Awards, we had Dallas Baptist awarded a partial scholarship for $16,000 per year for 2 years. TCU awarded a full scholarship for 3 years for a total, as of this date, of $121,000. But since it's a full scholarship, it'll be whatever it is, next year. They awarded 2 scholarships for $54,000 in addition to the total scholarship. Texas Women's awarded a partial scholarship for $4,000 a year for 2 years, and Texas Wesleyan awarded a tuition-only scholarship for $9,800 a year for 2 years. So we got a lot of really good scholarships from the Jim Bolin Math Awards. Baylor Bound Agreement was signed, which allows a seamless transition of TCC students to Baylor, and that was a big event. And then the ETIP signing ceremony with UTA, that got a lot of good press, where UTA will freeze its tuition rates for TCC transfer students pursuing 4-year degrees. And on that same day, we had on Southeast Campus, the SGA students saved their money and purchased a tree to dedicate to Irma Johnson Hadley's memory, and they had that planted and dedicated on that day. So that was a nice event. And then we had a wonderful commencement ceremony, our first with the dividing. At 1 p.m. ceremony, we had 806 graduates. I think this is right, isn't it, Dr. Black? And then at the second ceremony, we had 1,200. So, and they each lasted about 2 hours. It was very seamless. And then we had on May 17th a conversation with Ambassador El-Zargari. I think I said that right. And he was very entertaining. So they was Cuban ambassador. So that's my month.
Thank you. We're going to take a little detour tonight, and the chair would like to entertain a motion to go into closed session for purposes of consultation with the attorney, section 551.071 Texas Government Code, prior to the board president's report, and deliberate on personnel matters, Section 551.074 Texas Government Code. Motion to approve.
So
Mr.
moved.
Heed, seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Discussion, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? If you all will give us 5 minutes, we will be back. Thank you for your patience. The meeting is called to order again. At this point, the agenda calls for the President's report relative to the Chancellor search, and the President is prepared and ready to do that. We have made every effort throughout this process to be very open. We appreciate those of you who have submitted your suggestions on the hotline. We hope we have kept you informed as you would have wished. After going public with our announcement, which, by the way, was beautifully created by in-house talent, 30 well-qualified people from across the country applied for the position. Under the guidance of Dr. Stephen Kinslow of Gold Hill Associates, we narrowed the field to 6, and that was not an easy process. For the past 2 days, we've been entombed at the DFW Hyatt Hotel. Dr. Coronado has been at our side throughout the process, and I've had legal counsel on speed dial. So with an IOU chocolate appreciation to them, 7 of the most intense, thoughtful, caring elected trustees, we have something to share with you.
I move that the following candidates be selected as finalists for the position of Chancellor: Dr. Eugene Giovannini and Dr. Barbara Cavalieri.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I suspect you'd like to know a little bit about Dr. Giovannini. First, you have to learn to spell his name. He is currently at Maricopa County Community College, and he's been there since 2002, including 11 years, as president of their Gateway Community College. In 2013, he was named as founding president of what they call a corporate college in Scottsdale. I'm not going to read all of this. His doctorate is from Virginia Polytech Institute and State University, and he has held several positions of leadership, starting with a teaching position, Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, the Dean of Instructional Affairs at, Ivy Tech Community College. You can Google him. There's more about him. Dr. Barbara Cavalier is currently at Navarro Junior College. She came there for personal reasons to be close to her dad, and went into the position saying, I'm not going to be here for long. And she's only been there 2 years, but she's had 20 years with Dallas County Community College, 3 years as Associate Vice President at Tacoma, 3 years in San Diego Mesa College, and 3 years as President of San Jose City College. She has been the self-study director for Dallas Community College, Mountain View College, and she was recruited to the presidency of San Jose to focus on resolving accreditation issues. She has authored 2 books on community colleges. So on the next step is a community forum on June the 2nd. And this is what we're thinking about. It has not been finalized. Shelley and I are going to try a little something new here. It's follow the bouncing ball time. What we are suggesting, and again, Robert's going to reformat the hotline so you can send me, those messages come directly to me and I share them with the board, your suggestions for improvements on this suggested format. Starting in the morning, some sane hour like 10-ish, an open forum. And these forums will be moderated. There'll be an MC for the students, for the faculty, for anyone in the community. And these sessions have been scheduled at Trinity River campus. Thank you for having us, Dr. Madison. The next session for about an hour would be between the candidates and the CELT and the JCC. And what we're thinking is that one candidate at a time on the stage. So it's not like a debate, but one candidate at a time, he or she leaves, the next candidate comes and spends time with the audience. Another open forum in the afternoon for a couple of hours. Again, the entire community, faculty, whoever wants to come. We've also made preliminary arrangements to live stream the presentations to your computers on our website. So if someone is not able to come to the campus, they can follow the presentations. So that tentatively is what we think will happen on that day. On June 9th, we'll have a special board meeting to make a final decision on one of the candidates. And then there's a 21-day waiting period before the final approval. So that's where we are. Are y'all there? You okay? Ms. Shelton?
At the forums, will you take questions from the floor? Or will
Yes, thank you. We will. Ms. Shelton's asking if there will be questions from the floor. There will also be a form where you can fill out, what is your impression, what did you like, what didn't like, suggestions. So there'll be several opportunities. You can also, if you're sitting at your computer and you don't like what you hear or see, or you do, you can, again, use that hotline to send me a message. Other questions?
I'd like to make a comment.
Mr.
That this was a very, very tough job. We had some outstanding candidates to choose from. And I think the two that we selected are going to be just really outstanding. They're going to take us to the next level. And some of you may comment, but I was just amazed at the quality. I think Tarrant County College is a prize. I think we all know that. And so we attracted the very best candidates from all over the country. It was amazing. So.
And that's to your credit.
It is.
It's, the headhunter did tell us one of the first questions was, well, what's that board like? But they know you all. We could tell from the interviews. They knew us better than some of us knew us. And they know what you're doing in the classrooms and on the campuses. And a couple of them said, I wouldn't have applied for any other job except this district. And that is to your credit, not ours. You're the ones in the trenches and who wear the mantle of Tarrant County College. And we are very grateful to you. But it made our job really hard. So that is my report. And we really are going back into closed session to deliberate real property, section 551.072, deliberation on personnel matters, section 551.074, and consultation with the attorney, section 551.071. We do anticipate one action item at the end of that, so you're welcome to stay around. I don't think it'll be a long session. So you are welcome to stay. If not, we will see you again, hopefully on June 2nd. You'll come and meet Dr. Giovannini and Dr. Cavalier and tell us we did an okay job. Thank you. I know, it said this is a new world's record for us, all the way around. I move. Yeah, that, or, I will reconvene the meeting of the board of May 19th, 2016, and Mrs. Vandergriff will offer a motion.
I move to authorize the acting chancellor to enter into the letter of intent with UT Arlington for the academic plan, lease, and all ancillary documents necessary to effect the purposes of the letter of intent and academic plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Ayala, I'm going to give this one to you. I'm going to ask the chancellor to fill us in on the details of this authorization.
Well, the lease, UTA will lease the fourth floor of one of the towers of Trinity River, which is approximately 27,000 square feet for an initial term of 7 years with an option of 2 3-year terms. And during that time, they will have the, UTA will have the exclusive to offer education, business administration, social work, criminal justice, communications, computer science, criminology, and engineering at that location. That doesn't mean that other higher education can't offer programs or certificate programs, and they would have the exclusive only at Trinity River. So this is a really good opportunity both for our students and for UTA. So we're looking forward to the partnership.
Any questions?
No, I was just going to say that we already have a couple of thousand TCC students transferring every year. It's UTA is their favorite destination. This sort of collaboration, same place, really is going to make for a seamless transfer of our students to those that want to go on to 4-year colleges, and we think a great many of them will. So this has been one of those things, by the way, that I know that you, Chancellor, have been working on for quite some time. Wasn't always easy. We got to deal with the board here. You got to deal with Regents and Austin, everybody in between. So it's good to finally get it up. And when will they actually move in?
They're scheduled to offer classes beginning spring of 2017, but they may move into temporary spaces before then. They're very enthusiastic about it.
Ready to go. Good
Yes.
job.
Other questions, discussion?
I just think it provides a tremendous access. Yeah, I think this, in addition to everything else that's been said, this provides another means of access of our students to advanced education. It's because of all the facilities we have in the area. I think it's just a wonderful thing.
Further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Our next meeting, regular meeting, is June 16th, but of course, the community forum on the 2nd and a special meeting on the 9th. Thank you for being with us.
What is this? Oh, that we had the chancellor who was the chancellor during the shooting at Umpqua Community College, and this is her narrative.